What's good, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Get Good Millhouse, and on this channel I like to promote positivity and the fact that you don't need talent to improve in art. Okay, I wanted to push out this video last week, but I got really sick and I wasn't feeling up to it, and I was going to do this a little bit earlier, like within this week too, but still recovering. And if I'm not feeling good like 100% of the time, I'm most likely not going to do the video because I just feel weird about doing a video when I have such low energy. Some of you guys might know, if you guys follow me on Instagram or TikTok, I have submitted my art for a gallery, which was a very exciting thing to me. And I just want to show you guys the process behind it, what I did to get to point A to point B, and show you guys what programs I used while making this animation. So I used two programs. I used Clip Studio Paint and Blender, and I want to show you like how I navigate through Clip Studio Paint and how I prefer Clip Studio animation over any other animation program at this point, because I love Clip Studio Paint. So hopefully I can make animation a little bit more easier to understand when you're brand new coming into this. If you guys want to not miss out on the Sketchbook Slam Challenge, I advise you to hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell so you guys will know when I'm making that video or dropping it, because I wish I was a little bit more consistent. So enough blabbering. Let's jump into Clip Studio Paint and Blender and show you guys how you can make your own AR artwork. Okay, so I'm just gonna go and speed run through this as quick as possible, because I don't think you guys want to actually see me go through every frame by frame and talk about like the entire breakdown. So I'm gonna make this really quick. So I already did the rough draft, the rough animations, and all I'm doing is just cleaning up the line work and starting out on a new layer. The way how Clip Studio Paint works is like if you're used to working in layers, let's say if it was Photoshop or even just doing digital art, then you know how you'll have a rough draft layer, which be your like rough sketch, and then you'll have a clean line art sketch. That's basically what I'm doing for each and every one of these frames. And to make things a lot easier, I would also transform or warp some things so it doesn't seem like I have to keep redrawing the same frame over and over and over again. I think the one thing about animation is that you're trying to work smart and not hard. You will want to at least figure out the shortcuts and ways where you can get the same results for less amount of effort that you put in. So if you guys have some type of negative feeling about, oh, I am just copying and pasting frames, or I'm tracing some frames over and over, like, well, get that out of your head, because especially if you're gonna get paid for this, come on now. And for me, myself, I had a time restriction. I had to have this thing finished within 5 days, but I was busy with other stuff, so I only had 3 days to finish this. So this is like a little clip from my Twitch, and I spent I had to be like 48 hours on this non-stop just to get this thing done. And for the last bit of the animation, I didn't want to do anything big. I just want to do some slight animation and have a repeating frames looping over and over with like a background that's going to be animated. So for the most part, whenever I do animations and I have the idea of just using Blender for the environment, I kind of already have it in my head on like what the environment's going to be and how it's going to look at the end. And to me, like, I'm just thinking about, I don't know if this is gonna look as cool as it is in my head, but I'm never gonna find out until I do it. So that's why I just end up doing it this way. I just pray at the end that it all just looks cool and appealing, and if not, it's okay. We can like try it again some other time. So with the effects here, the little yellow and the reds and stuff that's glowing out from the eyes and the mouth and stuff, that's on top of each other. So it's not on the same frame where I did it's not the same layer where I did the line work. It's on a new layer and a new grouping of folders that is on top. So this is, I would say, like in the foreground. So imagine my illustration being in the midground, everything else is gonna be in the foreground. That will be all the yellow and other colors I might throw in which would be the effects, right? And if I want to have effects of him on the back where he's kind of like glowing with energy or something, or like energy is like kind of pouring out of him from the back, that will be in the background. So there's about like 3 layers to this, and that's one way of like trying to get in your mind like how animation is done. You got your midground, your foreground, and your background, and you're just piecing them all together. And if you play around with those 3 layers, like in that way, in animation, you can get some interesting effects. I think the next thing I'm gonna do right after the Sketchbook Slam Challenge is just display and show how to do like moving backgrounds, maybe with a blender, maybe without blender, but I will just break it down in a way where it can just makes it a little bit easier for you. You can see on the right hand side where all my layers are at, you see the groupings. I have them color coded. This is really, really important for anybody that's going to start animating on Clip Studio Paint, or in general, even if you're not even animating. I really suggest that you color code your labels or your groupings so you'll never get lost, because as you can see on the timeline, it is like the more you start adding to the timeline, like more folders and more frames to everything, you can get really lost really quickly. So this is a big thing that I have started to implement, especially when it comes to animation. I do it every now and then when it comes to my illustrations, especially like for the big stuff. But for the smaller stuff, I don't really color code or even name my layers. But for this, you don't want to like spend like or waste the time looking for your stuff. You don't want to like, I don't know which layer this yellow on the character's teeth is located or anything like that. So you want to make sure that you have all that easily found. And the one thing I really, really like about animating on Clip Studio Paint is the fact that it's all layer based. So if you already have your process down layer by layer, like you have your rough sketch, your line art, and then you have your masking layer, and then on top of that you have your flats, and you can separate your flats. So maybe the skin's gonna be a different color, the eyes are gonna be a different color, the teeth is gonna be a different color, and they're all on their own different layer. That's essentially how clips, like this is exactly how it is when it comes to animating on Clip Studio Paint. So the only difference is that the character color will all be in the same layer, or the same group, the same animation group layer, and everything else will be in its own different layer. Eventually, once I'm done with all the flats and all the effects like the foreground and background and midground stuff, I'm gonna start moving into doing the shadow layer, or doing the shadows essentially. There is a way of how you can like map the shadows and like keep track of it. Clip Studio Paint have tons of tutorials on this. I just kind of like breeze past it, and I'm just like a little kid. I want to animate now, you know, and I just jump into it and try to do the best I can. But this works for me for right now. During 2022, this is something I'm definitely going to start focusing on, especially if you guys follow me on TikTok. I posted a video of like all the little animations I've done, or you can even see it on my Instagram as well, where I would play around with animation for my own personal projects or even fan-made stuff, and I want to get better at it. So this will be a thing that's going to happen, where I'm going to go over a lot of animations and go over all my source materials. In the future, I think in 2022, I would like to upload more stuff. And I just got to a point where like, okay, I'm uploading everything, especially all my content when it comes to, let's say, just doing research or finding resources for references or whatever. I just want to share everything that I learned. And I have noticed that I have so many great websites underneath my belt that I think the world needs to see. So I already finished the animation here, and I'm setting up my blender to match that size of the canvas of whatever I'm going to be displaying. I've been having some issues with Blender because, you know, Blender doesn't just work 100% of the way all the time. It doesn't just work when it needs to. Sometimes it just becomes a pain in the butt, but that's okay. So I have the camera the size of the animation, or like the exact size of my Clip Studio Paint file. That's mostly my animation. You just get like a cool, quick animation, and you have the background moving as well. And these are just assets that I took from other tutorials I did and repurposed them and recolored them. So if you guys are also new to Blender as well and you want to, like, you know, start learning it, I really suggest, like, look at the tutorials that you want to do. Like if you want to make a background, if you want to make certain effects, start doing that, because then you'll always have that underneath your, it's a good way to learn Blender, and it's also, you have those assets forever and you can repurpose them, like what I did now. The black ripples were white and the red square was blue because it's supposed to be like a blue, like, water splashing effect. So I was like, okay, let me try adding some white splashes, and let me add like some bloom to it to like really give it some light and depth. Well, I don't know about depth, but just make it look trippy. You know, it's an art piece. I'm trying to make it look very trippy. If you also have questions on how I got my Clip Studio Paint animation in there, I had them exported as image sequences. So it's like an animated image sequence. So it has all the frames separated.
All right, so once done with my animation, I went to Artivive, open up Google Chrome. Let's go down to this is the website where you could upload your images with a with your animation or video. You can see like the little demo here where they just hover a camera over it and it'll play this really trippy 3D effect or whatever animation they have on their canvas. If I log in, and then you can see here that I have a bunch of these that I've uploaded before. So I've done some of my Yu Hakusho prints, and then here's the one for my little Damon piece right here. And it's like very simple on how you do it too. Does the like movie or illustration have to match? Does a movie file have to match your illustration? I don't think so. I don't think you really do need to have it match. You can also play something else, but it is very easy to do. You can just go to add artwork, make a name for it, I guess, like Blop. See if I just grab this, right? Then I can throw a movie file in here and have it linked together. I'm not gonna do it, but you know that's how simple it is. And you can say either use the first video as a frame, but you don't. I wouldn't. No fading. This video is transparent. There's no transparency on there. If your movie or your video clip has music, you can add that in here as well. And then bam, that's it. You upload it and you just have fun.
That is it for the video. Thank you guys for watching so much. And if this is something you guys like to try out, let me know in the comment section below. If you guys think that it's really cool to turn your artwork into AR art, where it's just more than just a picture and there's a little bit extra oomph to like sell to your customers or clients, let me know. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Sketchbook Slam Challenge 2022. Let's level up. Let's get it. See you guys later.